Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boyle Sports, Gorham Park, EJ Menswear, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, Midland Travel and McCafferty's traditional Irish bars.
They're coming to the final fence and the 25 Gulfs Trieste. Nick Rocket lands in the lead from Velvet Elvis, gone well clear of Favori de Shondu, and Bushman's Pass. They're well strung out. Nick Rocket on the stand side for win number 10 in the race for Willie Mullins.
Enter our Champ.ie headline competition in association with Midland Travel, where you could win a trip for two to the Cheltenham Festival 2026. For a chance to win, simply subscribe to the Champ.ie podcast on YouTube if you haven't already, and scan the QR code to enter your competition details today. We look forward to discussing your weekly #5cast selections in the comment section below. Hello, and you're all very welcome along to Season 7, Episode 12 of the Champ.ie Horse Racing Podcast in association with Gorham Park, Boyle Sports, EJ Menswear, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, McCafferty's Irish Bar and Midland Travel. And of course, we're going to take a look at what's coming up for you on this week's show. It's another action-packed show we've got for you. As always, we kick it off with the Irish Spotlight. We look at the 5cast races, and we've got a very special guest with Sam Thomas, who runs Vincenzo at Cheltenham on Saturday. And as always, we look at the weekend best bets for you. Well, let's get a little sneak preview of what Sam Thomas will be telling us all about later on in the show.
He could be, a lot better than his handicap mark, and pray to God if we can keep him one piece, he'll go to Cheltenham with the right chance.
Yes, looking forward to hearing that full interview later on with Sam Thomas. As always, Barry is with me here on the show. But before we get into the heart of the show, here's your chance to win big with Champ.ie and Midland Travel, a chance to go to Cheltenham next March.
Tune in with the chance of winning an all-inclusive trip for two to the 2026 Cheltenham Festival in association with Midland Travel, Ireland's leading horse racing travel specialist. Simply subscribe to Champ.ie on YouTube if you haven't already, and scan the QR code on screen and answer the following question. Who won the 2025 Cheltenham Gold Cup? Was it 1. Galopin de Champ, 2. I Know the Way You're Thinking, or 3. Marine Nationale? Register your competition details today, including your YouTube username. Don't forget, you must subscribe to Champ.ie on YouTube to qualify. The competition winner will be announced on Thursday, the 12th of February. Best of luck and be lucky.
Yes, and a massive thank you to all of you who've entered so far. And Barry, it's still lots of time to get involved. And as well as that, we'll be giving away lots of good prizes heading into the Christmas.
Absolutely, Dave. But you can scan the QR codes if you haven't entered the competition already with Midland Travel. And of course, plenty of entries thus far. But as we keep saying, Dave, if you're not in, you cannot win. And that draw, of course, coming up before Red Mills Chase Day down at Gorham Park. So really looking forward to that draw. And of course, big thank you to Stephen and all the team at Midland Travel. And really looking forward to announcing the winner. If you're not in, you can't win. And if you're watching this, Dave, on a phone device, you can scan the QR code. The link is in the podcast description as well. So no better time than the present, Dave, to get entering. And of course, our prizes that we will be giving away on our Christmas show, of course, next week. Breakfast with the Shark Hanlon, €150 shopping voucher for McDonagh Shopping Centre as well. An Irish Field subscription online for the full year of 2026 as well. And a race and stay package for two to the Fairways Hotel in Dundalk. Fantastic hotel. Dave had day 2 of the wedding there once upon a time. And of course, a trip to the races in Dundalk as well. So you must enter your 5cast selections. Plenty have qualified already, Dave. There the races up on screens. And of course, 2 winners or more qualifies you for the draw. Plenty have qualified already, Dave, but plenty haven't. So get entering.
Yes, absolutely. Get entering, and a great opportunity this week. Right, let's kick off the show then, because we look ahead to the Irish Spotlight, first part of the show. I suppose it's not as big a blockbuster weekend in Ireland this week, but still, there's some very interesting entries, Barry.
Yeah, we have Punchestown, of course, tomorrow, Dave, as we're recording. A listed Mayor's Hurdle. I thought an interesting little race, to be fair. We'll touch on that briefly. And obviously the listed bumper at Navan as well, the Future Stars listed bumper on Sunday, where Gordon Elliott has farmed this race, of course, in recent, over the last decade. He's won it on 8 occasions in the last 9 years. And the likes of Sam Crow, Envoy Allen, Sir Gerhard, American Mike, and Calypso's Chance won the race last season, of course, for Gordon Elliott. and he's 5 of the 9 entries. We'll get to that in a moment, because Punchestown, we mentioned that listed hurdle, of course, over 2 mile and 3 furlongs tomorrow at 1:20, and it is the feature on their card. And I liked switch from Diesel in there, Dave. I know you were a fan heading into Navan last time over hurdles. I thought she hurdled well on her first start over hurdles. Plenty of experience, of course, in bumpers last campaign. It was a rapidly improving mare for Ross O'Sullivan. Now, Donna Myler takes the ride. Look at her form from last season, Dave. Second in the Punchestown Grade 1 bumper behind Bambino Fever. So that's real smart form to bring to the table. And I thought she would definitely take a little bit of stopping, and I thought there was probably a genuine excuse where she was beaten last time at Navan, Dave, so I thought you could forgive her. She could come on.
Yeah, probably more than likely she will improve plenty from that run at Navan last time. Looking ahead to this Irish weekend then, with the way of looking for a runner in a handicap, have we come down on something?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a sec, Dave. Just want to touch upon that listed bumper at Navan. The one I liked actually for Gordon Elliott, if she does run, was Old School Outlaw. I thought she was really impressive in that listed, of course, contest against her own sex at the Navan Racing Festival. Looked at a deep little race set, to be fair. Plenty of winners coming into the contest, but Old School Outlaw, should I say, for Gordon Elliott, won really, really smartly. I thought she won by 6 lengths. She gets an allowance here off the geldings. She's an experienced edge, a couple of starts last season in bumpers as well, and looks progressive. So I thought you could side with her. Old School Outlaw, daughter walk in the park. She's an age advantage as well, and some of our 4-year-old rivals as well. So I thought she looked potentially smart, Dave, for Gordon Elliott in that 3:35 at Navan. In the way of a handicap, one to mention on Sunday as well, for Philip Rotwell, Obey the Order. I thought it was a very interesting entry in the 120 contest. Philip Rotwell does so well in these type of races. First time beyond 3 miles, an 8-length winner of a point-to-point, has been handed an opening mark, Dave, of 108 for Philip Rotwell. So it'll be nicely weighted. Look at the form though, Dave, because I know you're a keen form analyst. Gorham Park, 2 starts ago, second run over hurdles. A race won by the Devil You Know. Skylight Hustle was second. That's come out and bolted up since. And the Passing Wife obviously ran well in the Royal Bond. Back and forth, not disgraced over a trip plenty short, was Obey the Order, and he's been given an opening mark of 108. Very interesting. By Soldier of Fortune, I thought would stay all day. As I mentioned, came from the Sean Doyle Academy, was an 8-length winner of a point-to-point at Curramore. So no issues with stamina, and could be a very interesting handicap debutant in that 120 at Navan. So that's the one I'm most looking forward to in handicaps this weekend. And finally, before we wrap up the Irish Spotlight, Dave, just to mention for a juvenile who I thought ran real well at the Navan Racing Festival as well, behind Barbizon and Split, Waxstone as well. Ben Hoare was second for Noel Mead, and has since been bought by the Pollies. That runs at Fairyhouse on Saturday. So I thought that could be an interesting winner as well. That's Ben Hoare for Noel Mead's second start over the smaller obstacles. Could be interesting on Saturday's Cardiff areas.
Yes, a cracking weekend, nonetheless, to look forward to. Right, we're going to head into our first ad break, and right after that, we'll be going into the first of the 5-cast races this week on the show.
McCafferty's traditional Irish bars are located across Ireland, the UK, Spain and the United Arab Emirates. McCafferty's bars provide the perfect backdrop and atmosphere to watch all horse racing and sports events, serving traditional Irish food and music played 7 days a week. Come to McCafferty's for the crack and stay for the experience. Check out McCafferty'sbars.com.
Yes, and going to be great whole crack at McCafferty's Irish Bars over the coming weeks as we head into the Christmas period. Also, a big thank you to our new partner, Loanit, who are going to be powering our podcast video and highlight clips on social media clips this season. Loanit are your go-to broker for all things equine finance, and great to have them on board, Barry.
Absolutely, Dave. Always good to add to the list of partners as well. And a big thank you to all the team at Loanit down in McDonough Shopping Centre in Kilkenny as well. So, yeah, good to have them on board. And so you'll be seeing plenty from the team at Loanit over the coming weeks and months ahead, Dave. But 5-cast, interesting races this week.
There is very interesting races, and we've decided this week to keep all our 5 races at Cheltenham on the card on Saturday. And the first of those races that we look at is the Mayor's Handicap Chase. And again, this looks competitive, and the one we dream of is currently at the top of the market for the Inform team of Dan and Harry Skelton.
Yeah, you said it, Dave. Competitive, and that it is, because it's 4-1 the field. I think 3 of the last 5 winners, Dave, of this Mayor's handicap chase at the December meeting have been won by horses that have SB 12-1 or bigger. So, could possibly find one at a bit of a price here. I thought on the short list. That's nice. I thought could be well £3 lower than her hurdles mark of 126, Dave. And she is, for me, as well as on a 4-timer, looks really progressive for a stable in form. The Snowden team as well, Gavin Sheehan jocked up as well, and she's one that's definitely improving. But the one I like in here, Dave, is Callista Love, who could be a little bit of value, Dave, at 12-1 for each way backers in the 115 at Cheltenham on Saturday. Just since she's had wind surgery, Dave, this mare seems to be going in the right direction. As I mentioned, since she has had wind surgery, is 2 wins from 3, and just in particular, Dave, I thought she made a lovely shape over a fence, jumped lovely at Warwick. And when she came to challenge, she was ridden cold. Her jumping got her there, to be fair. So she was always gaining lengths on her rivals in the air. And look, her mark of 107 over fences. She achieved the rating of 107 over hurdles, Dave. So I thought she could surpass it over fences. She hit the line hard at Warwick last time, suggesting that, there could be a lot more to come. She's a scopy mare. I like the way she jumped. Callista Love for the Tom Simmons stable. That was a very interesting runner in that 115 at double figures, Dave. As mentioned, it is competitive.
Yes, it's a really competitive race, that 115 at Cheltenham. Now, the second race that we look at this week of the 5-cast races, that, of course, is the December Gold Cup. It's the handicap chase, big premier handicap. Our special guest later on in the show is Sam Thomas. He's got Vincenzo, who I was very impressed with in running at Cheltenham last time. Okay, it was beaten by Panic Attack, but form has been very much strengthened. Also, a very interesting runner of running on Saturday is Martador for Venetia Williams, Charlie George. That stable and combination are just beginning to come back into top form, Barry.
You said that to me yesterday, Dave, as one of Venetia's passed the line in front. You said, watch this space, because she can be streaky, can't she? And, when she hits a bit of form, to follow her horses can definitely pay. But, I think you've mentioned a couple there. Vincenzo, it was you, Dave, to be fair, that wanted Sam Thomas on the podcast this week as a special guest. You were talking about this horse earlier in the week, and I have to say, you've kind of convinced me, Dave, because if you're looking at the race itself, he looks probably the most rock solid in the lineup. He ticks almost every box for the race, and that, these 2.5 mile handicaps around Cheltenham, he has enough experience. Obviously ran really well to finish second to Panic Attack, and the forms worked out really well from the November Gold Cup. And Sam Thomas did allude to the fact that his biggest strength is his jumping. And looking at his record over fences, he's only had 5 starts over fences, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and he's only had 14 career starts. So there could be a lot more to come from Vincenzo. And arguably, Dave, they went a little bit too hard in the, of course, at the November meeting. And I just think, if you look at the way the race panned out, Dave, 3 of the first 4 home were actually held up in the contest. He was up there in the van early doors. So I thought you could mark up the performance. Obviously, the form has worked out well with Panic Attack boosting the form. She's got up 12 pounds and obviously won very impressively at Newbury. The drying ground as well is going to be a help, I think, to Vincenzo. Just 2 mil, should I say, due between now and Saturday afternoon. It's officially soft at the moment, but we're going to be drying all the way through onto racing. And look, he carries less than 11 stone. 7 of the last 9 December Gold Cup winners, Dave, have carried less than 11 stone. So lots to like. He ticks almost every box. The only worry I have is Joseph's horse, because that could be lurking down the bottom. On his French mark, Dave, he could be very well in and a top shape well in Class 3 company. And if Joseph O'Brien is sending Kim Rock over, you better believe that he thinks he's going to have a big chance here. And I think he does down the bottom of the weights. But in terms of a rock solid play, Vincenzo for me.
Yes, I'd have to very much agree with you for that December Gold Cup at Cheltenham on Saturday. Right, the third race of the 5 that we're going to look at this week then is a 2 mile handicap chase. Now, we've got a couple of very interesting types entered in this contest. JPR1, I thought, was disappointing last time. David's Well, Freddie Gordon's mounts, if this goes on Saturday, being really good form. I thought that was a very, very impressive performance. Currently in around 7-2 at the top of the market, Barry. But what do you like in this handicap chase?
I thought there could be one very well handicapped off 128 is Excelero for the Jane Williams team with Kieran Gettings on board. Right down the bottom of the waist, just 10 stone 3. And I think this horse could be going in the right direction. If you look at his back form, Dave. I mean, heard David Jennings on Up in the Ante. It was a fantastic show, of course, on a Monday, talking about Sergino possibly being the most talented horse in training. This horse was only beaten 11 lengths. Wasn't disgraced in a juvenile hurdle on the new course, and his only start in Cheltenham as a juvenile. Fourth to Sergino, only beaten 11 lengths. And I suppose over hurdles, looking at his hurdles form, the penny started to drop with Excelero at the back end of last season. 3-time winner over the smaller obstacles, but I loved this performance. Small field, Dave, at Warwick last time, but was a 9-length winner. And I just think 2 miles on the new course could be tailor-made for Excelero. As I mentioned, ran with real credit at his only start in Cheltenham in the past. And a 5-year-old, plenty of scope to progress, I thought. Loved the shape he made over his fences. And off a featherweight down the bottom, I just thought 8-1. I was quite keen each way on the chances of Excelero.
Yeah, it's a really good race to look forward to. Looking forward to that handicap chase. Right, coming up after the break, we will look at the final 2 races on this week's 5-cast selections.
Gorham Park Racecourse, the premier racetrack in the southeast of Ireland, is located on the outskirts of Kilkenny City. Known as the race that stops the county, the famous Goffs Thyestes Chase 2026 takes place on Thursday the 22nd of January. With packed crowds expected once again this January, you can book your early bird tickets online today. Visit gorampark.ie online, click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description, or scan the QR code on screen to purchase right now.
Thanks folks, it's going to be a Baltic winter and our winter wonder is back here at EJ Menswear and EJMenswear.com. €279 for 5 pieces all in, including your wool coat. We've got an unbelievable selection in this. Start off with your coat, build that. Choose a top from a quarter zip knit from Ted Smith. Any of our shirts, hundreds and hundreds of different combinations you can put together here. I've gone all black with the charcoal grey coat. Everything included in this, your coat, your quarter zip, or your shirt or your top, your bottoms. We even throw in the free scarf and socks. €279. It's a saving of over €200. The colours in the coats are class. You've got your camel there at the front. You've got your French navy. You have the black and you have the charcoal that I'm wearing here. A saving of over €200. The Winter Wonder Bundle is live now on the website, EJ Menswear and in-store in Grattan Street in Sligo.
Yes, and I have to say that Winter Wonder bundle is very, very comfortable. I had mine on during the week and really loving it. And also, if you wish to do a little bit of late Christmas shopping, we're going to give you an extra 5% off on EJ Menswear online when you enter the code CHAMP5. And a big hello to all the lads, Tom and EJ, and all the gang down in Sligo. And I know it's a busy time of year for you, so a big hello to you all.
Absolutely, Dave. Just to mention as well, Goffs Thyestes Day this Thursday, takeover to a Thyestes Day takeover. Stay tuned on the Gorham Park website because tickets are €15. The 22nd, of course, of January, Goffs Thyestes Day, and it's to celebrate 15 years in partnership with Goffs Gorham Park. So stay tuned if you're looking for Thyestes tickets or some presents for the loved ones this Christmas, Dave. We're looking forward to the late January, but €15 tickets. Of course, that takeover to celebrate 15 years partnership with Goffs on Thursday for Gorham Park.
Yes, looking forward to that. Right, well, we've got a grade 2 to look at next, race 4 of our 5-cast selections, and that's going to be run over 3 miles. It's the 3 o'clock race on the card at Cheltenham on Saturday, Barry.
Yeah, it certainly is. I've heard a couple saying that Conman John is very short for this race, but to be honest with you, Dave, I'm not entirely sure what beats Conman John. It's 6-4. He was actually my nap pick of the entire weekend. Lucinda Russell's only runner at Cheltenham, and her horse is starting to come into a little bit of form. This horse obviously won very impressively, Dave. Hit the line very, very hard at the October meeting. Sets a decent standard. Rated, of course, in the mid-130s at the moment, officially rated 135. So that's a fair standard, Dave, to be fair. Has to shoulder a £3 penalty, but I thought could be up to doing so. And could be a contender for the Albert Bartlett, I think. Look at his form from bumpers. Obviously, we're a big fan, Dave, on the podcast of Nicky Richards upon Tweed. Riskway, of course, franked the form as well when winning this season. And this horse was a 20-length winner of a point-to-point at Dama House. And look at the second, Dave. Daydream Nation come out and bolted up, of course, in a maiden hurdle at Gorham Park as well for the Harveys. So I think his bumper form and his point-to-point form looks strong. He has the course form in the book. there's a couple in here that really have to step up to get to his level. The new course as well, it's worth noting as well, last time at Cheltenham for Colm and John, it was on the old course. I think the new course will suit him better. And these 3-mile hurdle races for novices, Lucinda Russell has a tremendous record. So the ground drying is going to be a help. And with Colm and John, 6-4, nap pick of the weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm going to follow you in there. Maybe not as the nap pick of the weekend, but I'll be putting that forward as my next best pick. I'll keep my nap selection for the best bet section of the show. Right, the final race of the 5 then that we look at is the 3:35 Barry, and it is a handicap hurdle. 2.5 miles is going to be the journey for the mares here on Saturday afternoon. Again, another cracking race, and Jubilee Alpha at the top of the market for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden.
Yeah, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, Dave, that Jubilee Alpha is definitely going to reverse the form with Sweet Caroline. Some smart mares have won this in the past, of course. Voodoo last season. We saw Damn the Company. Nurse Susan, she's in again here, won this contest. But I'm going to stick with the improver, Sweet Caroline. The Tizard team this season really rocking, aren't they, Dave? Still over 20% in terms of strike rate. She's a 7-year-old mare, Sweet Caroline, who landed a hat-trick at Wincanton, beating Jubilee Alpha on her most recent start. And I suppose looking at, she's gone up £5 and the second went up £4. And she's going to have to obviously give a lot of weight away to a rapidly improving mare who might not be done with, Dave. I mean, 7 years of age. She's only had 11 starts, 10 stone 3. I thought there was a lot to like. I thought she was a comfortable winner at Wincanton last time, to be fair, when landing the hat-trick. And I know Jubilee Alpha made a mistake at the second last, Dave, but I'm going to stick with Sweet Caroline. I think 2.5 miles, the new course around Cheltenham could be tailor-made for this. She's a really good jumper, and she'll be on the front then. So you're going to get a good run for your money, Dave. She's 4-1. I don't see a reason why the form will be reversed with Jubilee Alpha, who for me disappointed in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle on the new course last season.
Yes, and we could be all breaking into a bar of Sweet Caroline after the race 3:35 on Saturday. Right, well, it's now time for us to hear from our very special guest this week, Sam Thomas, of course, who runs Vincenzo in the big December Gold Cup at Cheltenham on Saturday.
We're on the eve of the December Gold Cup at Cheltenham, and in November, of course, at the meeting, Vincenzo, a 7-year-old with 14 runs over fences, of course, finished, he 13 runs heading into Cheltenham in November, but was just touched off by panic attack, went up £2 to 139, but he must be pleased with how the form has worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we had a lot of rain before that Cheltenham meeting. We went round near the inside. In hindsight, it might not have been the place to go. I think everything that day came from middle wide really and had a bit of fresh strip. But like I say, we lost. I wouldn't ever use that as an excuse. But we probably learned a bit more about the track and about him. He's been very reliable with his jumping. He's been around some of the biggest tracks as a novice last season. I think we had him fairly ready last season, but last time, should I say? But from what we've seen at home, I'm hoping he's come forward.
Well, that was my first question. How much has he come forward? What about the track, though? Because you mentioned, obviously, riding or learning about Cheltenham. That was on the old course, and on Saturday, of course, it's the new course. How do you assess that?
Yeah, I mean, over fences, maybe it's not quite as different, if that makes sense. But for me, jumping wise, like he's been rock solid with his jumping. He's not a great mover. He's quite scratchy, but he's very foot sure, and he's just very measured with his fencing. So I don't think the new course is going to make a whole pile of difference to him. But again, I do think that we probably learned that we'll probably just pick a bit of better ground for him if the ground does, turn out to be soft. We are due a lot of rain. Typically some of the Dr. Dinos, they probably don't want it too soft in my experience from the ones we've had. So, I'm hoping that won't be an issue.
What do you think are his biggest strengths?
Like I said, I mentioned it already, jumping, I'd say he's very, very good. Like he went on Windsor, Newbury, Sandown and Cheltenham in his first 4 runs last season. So it takes, a fair horse to go and do that in their first 4 runs. So I'd say his jumping is his big attribute. I tell you, he's actually livened up a little bit from that last run. He's been sort of quite keen at home, and I'd say it's just switched him on that bit more. So he was always a nice traveller, but I'd say mentally he's probably sharpened up a lot for that last run. And with Booster Bob coming out and winning again, there's no reason why we can't end up being a 3-miler. So he was notoriously not the strongest of finishers early on in his career, but he's looking like he's potentially going to be an out-and-out stayer now.
How do you assess the race? Jaguar, Ho Jolie Smoke as well in there as well for the Skeletons, and Kimrock as well, an Irish Raider for Joseph O'Brien.
Yeah, that looks very well handicapped, doesn't it? Just having a look through that horse's form yesterday, that could be a real dark horse there with no weight on its back. Dan Skelton's will no doubt come forward again for its last run there, and Jaguar, if it's going to be a Ryanair horse, he ought to be winning that race, really, hadn't he? So yeah, I think it's just as strong a race as it was last month, and we having only gone up £2, I think by rights we should be in the mix. I just hope there's nothing in there lurking that can come and do us again like it did last time. But it's going to be very competitive once again.
Looking ahead a couple of weeks, what have you got lined up for the Welsh National this year?
So we've got 2 in the Welsh National. Jubilee went and won there last Saturday, which was great. Last season we just had a few issues with him and just couldn't quite get him ready until the actual Welsh National itself. So this time, we've had a couple of prep runs. He's a big, stocky, burly horse. And in a way, I haven't actually been that hard on him because he's been able to have these prep runs. So I'm really hoping that, again, he'll come forward for that last run there last Saturday. We've still got a few weeks to go, and he's one of those that you wouldn't want to miss any bits of work with him. He sort of takes all the training and more. So I just think with those runs under our belt, I'd be very confident of a good run, providing he stays sound up until the race, really. So Sean Minucci had a really good prep run up at Haydock, was really gassy and probably over raced for a lot of it, and finished 4th in probably a quite competitive race. It's a big unknown whether he's actually going to stay the 3-6, and he'll need to settle a bit better than he did at Haydock. But he's a horse I've always loved. I think a lot of him. I think the conditions will really suit him. He'll love the heavy ground, and he jumps very well. So it's a big ask for a horse that's only ever had 2 runs to go and win the Welsh National over fences. But like I say, he's got a touch of class, if you ask me. And I think if I was hard pushed to decide who I'd want to ride, put it that way, if I was if I was Dylan Johnson.
What way would you say he's leaning at the moment?
After Saturday, I think he's leaning Jubilee's way, really, and he sneaks in then off 10 stone 3 with a £4 penalty. So he went up £6 this morning, so effectively he's going to be racing £2 well in, which probably in the grand scheme of things isn't an awful lot, but 3 weeks time in heavy bottomless ground, it might just make the difference.
What else are you looking forward to running over the Christmas period?
Yeah, so next Friday, the 19th, we've got Steel Alley running a grade 2 mile 2 novice chase. He was very impressive at Carlisle, jumps fantastic, and we'd be hoping for a big run from him again. So really looking forward to him. And we've got Say Different, who might run at Ascot the 19th, or he'll run on New Year's Day at Cheltenham. He's very impressive when he won the Pertemps at Market Raise in there. Got £12 for doing so. That takes him up to 121, and he will need to go and win again to get up to sort of 124, 125, which will hopefully guarantee him a run come March time. So with a bit of luck, he can go and win again, and then we'll probably look after him till Cheltenham. And then we've got a couple of nice bumper horses left to run. Just for Dad, who's a lovely Goliath de Burley, half brother to Lump Sum. He's going to be entered for Ascot in the listed bumper. It's a bit of an ask first time out, but he's a horse which we really like.
How is Celtic Dino? Super run behind Woodhull.
Yeah, mega really. He's just a smashing horse all round, to be honest with you. He's just still really immature mentally at home, and he's like a pinball going up the gallop, he's all over the shop. But I don't mind that, because it means that hopefully we've still got a little bit of improvement to go mentally with him. He's got loads of raw ability, loads of scope, and yeah, I've been shying away from running him in soft ground this season anyway, but we'll have to make a call come Christmas time to see whether we want to run him or not. Hopefully, if the ground's safe in that it's on the good side, we'd love to run him again. But I'm not sure he's a true grade 1 horse, but I think over fences next season with another summer under his belt, I think he's going to be a top class 2 mile chaser.
Is he one that maybe we could see maybe for some of those good spring handicaps over hurl, something like a county hurl? Is that something maybe you might take a look at?
Yeah, maybe, or the Scottish champion hurdle up at Ayr, on that real top of the ground, that sort of stuff, or even potentially Punchestown if the boss is up for it. But Like, I can't emphasize it enough. The quicker the ground, the better he is. Like, he literally just springs off the ground, and I'm hoping as time goes on, he will be able to handle softer ground a bit better, because with our winters, you need horses that can handle soft, heavy ground. But he's got such a long stride, and when you can unleash him on the top of the ground, he's as good a horse as you're ever going to want, I think.
Wanted to ask you a specific question in relation to your old boss. Obviously, Paul Nichols, you had a tremendous record and relationship with Paul over the years. And you rode Denman, of course, to win a Gold Cup, Sam. And I suppose Paul recently did mention no drama descend in the same breath as Denman. What did you make of that? I suppose the quote and the performances thus far of no drama descend in the racecourse.
Yeah, I suppose only Paul can really truly know that feeling you get when you've got another potential superstar on your hands. So I think if he's gone and said that, then I suppose you have to take that with real credit. But I did follow the horse. My best friend Will Biddick produced him, so he's always a horse which I've followed from the very start. Will picked him up for just €25, I think it was, from the store sale. So good, great buy in the first place. But yeah, he looks very smart, doesn't he? And that Sandown heavy ground is tough, and there's no hiding places there. So to go and win like he did, I think proves he's got a big engine. And he looks like he's grown as well. Like, he looks like a nice big horse now. So yeah, I think he looks like he's probably one of the best the English have got to go with at the minute.
A couple of questions, Sam, before we let you go. A young horse that you're most looking forward to heading into 2026?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned him, and yeah, I could have it completely wrong, but Just for Dad, he's a half brother to Lump Sum by Galar to Burley. I think the stallion's starting to really make a name for himself. He's unraced, but he could be very smart. Yeah, I put my neck on the line a few times, unfortunately, so I'm there to be shot at. But I think he's a very nice horse.
Heading into the weekend, confident about Vincenzo? Do you think you can land the big pot?
Yeah, like I say, confident in that. I think we've got him in a good place. Confident that we can land a big pot. Maybe not so, only because we've been to Cheltenham so many times and been disappointed. It's so hard to win there. Jaguar looks, maybe a class above these lot, but we're off a nice weight, and he's very fit and looks well, and our lad should run a big race. Yeah.
You mentioned Cheltenham. Is there any horse in the yard that you hope can take you to Cheltenham Festival 2026? If there was one horse that you think can take you to the festival this year?
Yeah, look, say different. He's 3 from 3 now. He won his Pertemps qualifier, like I say, at Market Raising, like a good horse. I think he's already favourite for the Pertemps now, but he could be a lot better than his handicap mark, and he's just one of those. He's by Manatee, and I think they take a lot of time. So it's not a bad way to be if you can keep progressing through the season, and I'm pray to God if we can keep him one piece, he'll go to Cheltenham with the right chance.
Now boarding the train of thought.
Calling out. Injury Lane.
He's 80% at best.
Statminster.
No, you asked me.
Opinion Circus. Last Chance Cross. And Decision Time.
Back yourself. Boyle Sports.
Yes, you're welcome back. And before we look ahead to the best bets for this weekend, let's have a little recap on what we put forward for you last week. And a couple of nice winners in there, Lord Rouge, and we had, of course, O'Connell as well, and Mr. Van Gogh coming out the wrong side of the Stewart's Inquiry. But not a bad weekend, Barry.
No, in fairness, what was it, 7-2, Lord Rouge? We were corrected by one of the viewers in the comments section, not Lord Rogue, Lord Rouge. And the form obviously has worked out before Heldham even runs. It'd be interesting to see what Woody Mullins' recruit can do. But Lord Rouge, I think a nice type, certainly stepping up and trip, but jumped well, stayed well, and a good performance at 7-2. And you mentioned O'Connell as well. That was 7-2 as well. Snap. There was a good performance in the London National. And on the podcast, Dave, it's, of course, Mr. Van Gogh last season for the London National. So we're going for the hat-trick next season.
Yes, absolutely. Right on to this week, though, because it's all about getting the winners for this weekend. And I know you've kind of let your nap selection out of the bag. That's going to be my next best, Barry. But tell us once again all about your nap for this weekend.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself, Dave, to be fair. I think, going aside with Conman John, I just think he sets a decent standard. He's proven, of course, at Cheltenham, the drawing ground is going to suit. And, Yeah, I think he'll shoulder that penalty. I think in that, of course, a 3 mile novice. Bristol novices hurdle, of course, at Cheltenham on Saturday. And I'm going to side with Excelero as a next best 8-1 each way. I thought, really good performance. Small field at Warwick last time, but I think it can step up and looks well handicapped. I suppose if you're to take his juvenile hurdle form, literally the only time he ran at Cheltenham, 11 lengths behind Sergino, finished fourth, wasn't disgraced, and we know what Sergino's gone on to do. So, off 1-2-8 over fences, I thought he could be reasonably well handicapped. Excelero, and obey the order if it is declared for Philip Brotwell. I can see you smiling, Dave. I think that certainly was of interest to you as well for Philip Brotwell. Handicap debutant off 108. Look at that form at Gorham Park. Skylight Hustle. David Jennings talking about this horse for a Supreme Novices hurdle. Well, if you think so, well, stepping up and trip beyond 3 miles here off 108. Obey the order for Philip Brotwell at 1:20 at Navan on Sunday. I'm hoping it's declared, and who knows, maybe Dave, it could be nice timing as well. Philip Brotwell likes a winner on Goffs Tayesta's Day as well. Could be a stepping stone to there as well. But off 108 could be well handicapped.
Absolutely. Well, Conman John for me, Barry, is going to be my next best selection of the weekend. And I believe that Sam Thomas holds the aces, our special guest on the show this week with Vincenzo. I think he's got a lot going for him in the big race on Saturday, and I'm going to stick with Vincenzo as a nap selection for this weekend. Well, that brings us to the end of another great show. But before we go, Barry, as you mentioned, we're getting close to the Christmas. And for those listening to the show, of course, the Goffs Tayesta's Day, we'll be focusing on that as we get closer to the new year. Not far away. And I'm already looking forward to the middle of January, 22nd of January. But tell us a little bit more about what's coming the way from Gorham Park this week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. As mentioned, that takeover, Dave. Look, €15 tickets on Thursday, celebrating 15 years in partnership with Goffs, of course, Gorham Park. And we saw the Grand National winner, of course, win the Tayestas last season in Nick Rocket, and hopefully look forward to doing a feature in January as well, building up to the Tayestas, and of course all the local guests in the southeast as well. We have a couple penciled in, Dave, for that preview, of course, which I think we've agreed, Dave, on the Monday before Tayestas. We've been working without declarations, but I think it's good. Obviously, the shelf life, the Tayestas Day itself will be on Thursday, gives people a good opportunity to watch and form their selections, and we'll have plenty of special guests, all Southeast, I suppose, teamed guests, Dave, in January as well. So looking forward to it. 22nd of January at Gorham Park. Put it in the diary, and I suggest putting the 23rd in as well. You need to book that day off work as well, Dave, because it can be a heavy session. Goffs Tayesta's Day.
Yeah, already. We'll probably do a little bit of training for that over the coming weeks, over the festive period. Also, just before we go, Midland Travel, that's a competition for you to get involved. And of course, you can scan the code on screens to get involved. And it's a great opportunity for you and a friend to win a trip to Cheltenham next March. Well, from Barry and I, that's another Champ.ie horse racing podcast coming to an end.
So 12, David, this season.
It's unbelievable. Number 12 and number 13 is going to be, of course, the road to Cheltenham, Barry, isn't it? Noel Feely and yourself, you had a great old chat last week. Really enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to another road to Cheltenham next week. And of course, we'll be back with our Christmas show next week, myself and Barry. We're looking forward to that one. We hope you have a very good weekend. And we hope on this show we found you some winners.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds recently celebrated their 100th winner, and Ireland's leading racehorse syndicate has taken owners all over the world. Shamrock Thoroughbreds founder Stephen Thorne remarkably won the Winter Trainers' Championship at Dundalk during his first season as a racehorse trainer. To experience success with Shamrock Thoroughbreds and Stephen Thorne Racing, check out shamrockthoroughbreds.com.